previous video, link in the description down below, or you can go and click the card. Highly recommend you go and check it out. But at least Hobbs was still alive in the franchise. The director for Fast X has stated that he didn't think Fast X and Fast X Part 2 would work without the return of Gal Godot and Dwayne Johnson, so clearly they're integral to the story and we've definitely missed them. And since Han, we know no one is ever truly gone. The last time we saw Gisele, she was helping the gang stop Owen Shaw when they attached their cars to try and stop a plane from taking off. The cars have only just gradually began lifting off the ground when Gisele ends up falling off the car onto the ground, shooting a guard and saving Han in the process. And we just assume that she dies because we see the family mourning her, and Han ends up going to Tokyo to separate himself from everyone, which is where him and Gisele were meant to go. Which of course, where he, in inverted commas, dies as well. The thing is though, we don't actually see Gisele's dead body. In fact, we only just see her drop from a height, and the cars haven't even really been lifted that much off the ground at this point. Sure, falling backwards from a height could very easily kill you, but she is a trained assassin, so she probably knew how to avoid hurting herself when she landed this fall. To be honest, since we didn't actually see Gisele basically die, unlike we did with Han, it makes Han's fake death look more realistic than this death. But why wouldn't she go back to the family then if she is not dead? Well, the most likely option is what exactly happened to Han, Mr. Nobody. The whole Fast franchise for the past few films has been leading up to a major villain likely associated as a villain to Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody has been slowly bringing the family together, recruiting Shaw and Hobbs to work with each other, getting the family to save Ramsey so that she can join the team, faking Han's death so that Han could work undercover for him, and in F9 we see Mr. Nobody has mysteriously disappeared, and then suddenly in Fast X we have everyone seemingly to return altogether, likely because of his doing, where it will lead to the final mission in the final film. So it's very likely that Mr. Nobody was behind Gisele's death as well, even if he wasn't formally introduced to the family till Furious 7. We know he'd been tracking the Shaw family and Toretto's crew for a long time, and worked with Han before Furious 7 because he had faked Han's death at this point as well, so clearly his plan has been in action for a while. And it just so happens that a one-off line about Gisele was mentioned in F9, setting this up perfectly.
I worked with Gisele back when I was a CIA operative running the drug trade in Central America.
Clearly showing Mr. Nobody has had relations to Gisele previously in previous spy work, so could have very easily been working with Gisele during Fast and Furious 6, so much so that she faked her own death to then go undercover for him. That's the most plausible possibility. But then we've also got the elephant in the room that Gisele came to save Letty, but because she had heard it from Cypher, arguably one of the family's biggest enemies. We know Cypher had also been following the Toretto family for a long time before the fate of the Furious, so Cypher could have easily been working with Gisele as well. Let's also note Gisele is a spy. In the first film, she was introduced in Fast and Furious 4. She was originally working for the villains of the film, and it's only when they turned on her that she starts helping Dom. And she only really becomes a part of the family because Dom needs help from all over in Fast 5, and she only really sticks around because she